Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Schiphol Airport, Terminal 1. My name is Scott. I am the guy who writes all of the airline reviews that you read over on sandspotter.com. And today, this is going to be fun. I'm flying Austrian Airlines Business Class down to Vienna. It's going to be flight number 372 on an A320neo. Now, this isn't going to be a very long flight. It's going to clock in at just under an hour and a half, but still, I'm really looking forward to this, mostly because of the food. I flew Austrian Airlines Business Class once already. It was a few years ago, but the one thing I remember from that flight was the food. So this is going to be good, I hope. Speaking of food, the very first order of business was to check out the Star Alliance Lounge, and I timed this perfectly. I was the very first passenger here this morning, and once I got in, there was nobody behind me. I had the entire place to myself for about at least 30 minutes. It was nice. The food was okay, but I had to pace myself because, as I told you, the entire point of this was the food, and I didn't want to eat too much in the lounge, so I just took it easy and tried to get out of there as fast as I could. Anyway, it was a very long walk over to the B gates. Where the lounge is, and then where this flight was departing from. Very long way. It probably took me 30 minutes to walk over there. And there's no fast track. There are moving walkways, but it's a long way. Anyway, there she is, ZQ, the A320neo that's going to be taking me down to Vienna this morning. And can't quite see it here. There are blinds in the way, unfortunately. And as I zoom out here, I mean, these blinds were pretty much immovable. I couldn't really get a good shot of this airplane, but trust me, it's a good-looking airplane from the outside and on the inside, which you'll see momentarily. And yeah, there's my boarding pass. Lots of red, which you will see again momentarily once I get on this airplane. Red seems to be the theme, and just one of the things that makes Austrian Airlines really cool. I mean, they have a simple livery, simple branding, but the splashes of red that they use really, I don't know, I guess the word I want to use is it spices things up a little bit. So this isn't going to be a completely dull experience. And if you've flown European business class before, or intra-European business class, you know that it's not all that special. These are just economy class seats, nothing special here, but the middle seat is guaranteed to be blocked, at least most of the time. So, legroom, you know, it's not all that great, as you can see here. And then underseat storage space isn't, I mean, it's not anything better than what you would get in economy class. But having that blocked middle seat, yeah. And you know, I would actually prefer to have a blocked middle seat compared to, or as opposed to extra legroom or a wider seat, like it is in the U.S., so I'm liking this. I've never been a negative Nancy when it comes to European business class, and so far, Austrian Airlines A320neo business class is pretty much on par with Euro business class. There's nothing special here. A little saggy there, but otherwise, this is nice. And there's that red again, as you can see in the seat belts. Red will be making an appearance all throughout this flight, but yeah, it's just that attention to detail that you don't really get on other airlines. And I know this is minimal. I mean, who cares about red seat belts, right? But it does make a difference in my opinion, especially if you compare this to something like, I don't know, like KLM 737-800 business class. This is a little bit more spicy, and I like that. Anyway, we got pushed off the gate just 2 minutes late at 9:57 a.m., so not bad. It's also worth noting that this was a very full flight, up here in business class and back in economy, so just being 2 minutes late off the gate wasn't that bad. Oh, here's a quick reminder for you. I think you want to sign up for my newsletter. Link in the description below. As you might know, I'm not really much on social media these days, and if you want to stay up to date with my travels, behind-the-scenes stuff, just some anecdotes or some tips and tricks or whatever, the newsletter is where you can get that, and I highly recommend signing up for it if you want to stay in touch. Again, you'll find the link in the description below. It's quick and easy to sign up, completely free, and you can unsubscribe at any time if you totally hate me. Total taxi time over to runway 18 left was 18 minutes. They timed that perfectly. But by the time that we got through all of the traffic and it was our turn to take off, we were about 10 minutes behind schedule. And just for reference, that takeoff time was 10:15 a.m. So, not too bad. To be quite honest with you, I didn't even care because all I was thinking about was the food. Now, as I said earlier, this flight was only scheduled to be about 1 hour and 30 minutes in length, so I knew that we weren't going to get the full Austrian Airlines Business Class experience, which usually starts with drinks and snacks and hot towels and all that stuff. Nope, this was going to be quick, but it didn't matter because, as you might know, Austrian Airlines partners with Dough & Co., probably the best airline catering service when it comes to meals, and the meals are always amazing, at least by airplane standards, and today was no exception. To be honest, I really have no idea what this is. I mean, you get that little side plate there with the cheeses and meats and tomatoes and all that good stuff, but the main course, I'm not really sure what that was called. I know it was very good. The best way I can describe it is it was kind of like French toast with Nutella inside with a raspberry topping of some kind. The bread wasn't really sweet, it was more toasted, so it's not really French toast, so yeah, it's good. It was all good, as usual. To be honest, that's one of the reasons why I booked this flight. More than anything, I was just curious to see if the typical Austrian Airlines business class experience on short hauls is as good as it is on long hauls. And in regards to the food, yeah. But as you just saw there is no Wi-Fi on these flights. No connectivity at all. And as a matter of fact, there's no in-flight entertainment of any kind. All in-flight entertainment is 100% your responsibility. But if you're seated by a window, it's not all that bad. And besides, on these short intra-European flights, do you really need a movie or a TV show to keep you entertained? Especially when they hand out chocolates like this. Got some Lindor chocolates, some pretty high quality stuff. And they actually came to the cabin several times with these things, so I definitely got my sugar fill this morning, which wasn't a good thing, but at least it tasted good. We started making the descent into Vienna about 5 minutes behind schedule, but that's all right. I didn't have any connections to make, and besides, the weather was beautiful. And having been to Vienna once before, it was before the pandemic, I already knew that this part of Europe is absolutely stunning, and I was treated with some really nice views all the way in. It was a little bit bumpy though, which doesn't really come across here in these video clips. There's central Vienna there. Beautiful city. I highly recommend visiting if you've never been there. You can spend days there just exploring everything. Anyway, as I said, it was a little bit windy, a little bit choppy, bouncy on the way in. Now, I don't really have a fear of flying, and I don't really get scared while flying most of the time, but there were a few big bumps and shakes and rattles and rolls on the way in that kind of scared me a little bit. But all in all, it was beautiful, and we're only slightly behind schedule here, so all is good. Speaking of good, yeah, this was absolutely fantastic. Choosing this flight over all of the other options, even KLM business class, this was the right move. Mostly because of the food, that Dough & Co. catering, that alone makes it worth it. Especially if you need to hit the ground running once you land, if you're going straight into a meeting or you've got things to do and there's no time to eat. Getting a good meal on the plane on the way there is the right move. And in my opinion, it's definitely okay to pay a little bit more for that. I will admit that this flight was a little bit more than all the other options. I didn't know why at first, and then I kind of put two and two together and realized that maybe it's the food. And it was the food. This was perfect. Anyway, if you have any questions about this, drop me a comment below, and I will get to it as soon as I can. And as a reminder, make sure to sign up for that newsletter. Again, that link is in the description below. It's the best way to stay in touch with me and all my travels and everything that I get up to in the air and all that good stuff. Anyway, thanks for watching all the way through to the end. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you in the next one.